Hello, everybody. This is Wayne Ulery, and we are getting started. Welcome to the Thirsty Thursday call. If this is your first time on the call, we want to welcome you. It's a call we've been doing now for quite some time, maybe 5 years or so, and just a way to kind of get the community together towards the end of the week so we can just glean something off of one another, maybe share a tip, share a story, share something that motivates and inspires someone to go out there and achieve a more meaningful life. If this is your first time on the call and you want to get connected, just open up your phone and send out a text message to 50500. That's the number, 50500, and use the word Thursday. That's 50500, and use the word Thursday. You'll get a message back, and it'll give you 2 links. One is for our mailing list, lets you know who the speakers are and whatnot, and the other will connect you to our group on Facebook. All right, so it's pretty simple. Just send a text message to Thursday on 50500. Well, tonight we do have a really cool lineup. We'll be talking to a new bronze from Pennsylvania. We have Steve and Gina Merritt on the call, and I'm actually going to share and have Stephanie on the call and do a little interview with her, talk about how we got started and what it was like 5 years ago when we first got started, where we're at today. Okay, so listen, we got a lot of cool stuff going on in the world of Monavie. Just got back from Texas, so I'll share a few things that went on out there that were really exciting. And listen, if you're brand new to this business and to Monavie, this call may not give you all the details about a product. It may not give you all the details about a compensation plan or even all the details about how to build a business. And what this call is really for is for people to come on and share from their hearts, to share their passion for better health, for wealth, and so much more. So our hope is that by the end of this call that you've made a connection with one of us that are speaking tonight, and that you can come away with something that would motivate you and inspire you to do more, be more, and give more. And we really appreciate everybody who comes on every week, and I appreciate you sharing on Facebook and Twitter and the different social media venues out there, letting us know, what you think about the call. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. We put a survey out there, and it seems that we're doing great. Everybody's excited and feels that there's a lot of value in the call each and every week, and we're glad to have you on it. So listen, I want to go ahead and get ready to bring on one of our first callers, our first speakers. And just a few weeks ago, well, actually, I guess it would have been a few months ago, I had an open meeting here in Boardman, Ohio. And, we were signing people in and scanning people. And one after another, I kept getting folks from Butler, Pennsylvania. And I thought, wow, this is interesting, some new people coming in. And Steve had called me ahead of time and said, hey, I got a new group building in Butler, and they're probably going to be over there to see you at your meeting. And I said, oh, great, glad to have them. And so we met a bunch of new people, and then we knew they were having a meeting in April, early April 3rd, I think it was. And so I was excited to go out there and meet the team and see everybody. And so we went out there, and it was a beautiful golf course in a real nice clubhouse at the golf course. And that's where I first got a chance to meet George Aubrey. And he came up and shared with us, a little bit about him and what he did in the past that had to do with health. And it was very interesting to hear him speak and to see someone who saw very clearly the value in our products and our opportunity. So that's kind of how we got to know each other. And then just a week ago or so, Steve gives me a call and says, hey, Wayne, you remember George? And I said, yeah, I remember George. He said, wow, he just went bronze, and he got black tie qualified. Let's have him on the call next week. And I said, hey, sounds good to me. We want to have people who are, just hitting new ranks and stuff on this call and to hear from them. So I want to bring on new bronze executive George Aubrey from Pennsylvania and Florida. How you doing, George? Are you on the call?
Yeah, Wayne. It's good hearing from you again.
Hey, good to hear you. Hey, George, I just wanted to ask real quick, what, George, was going on? What were you into, or what was life like? What were you doing before you first heard about Monavie? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, Wayne, I'm into a lot of businesses, that's for sure. But Monavie, I heard about it probably 9 years ago. I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it was just a juice, and I was doing some things in my labs at the time that I was probably dealing with some kind of an antioxidant at the time. It was grapeseed and pine bark extract. So I wasn't really interested in listening to Monavie, but just recently when I was down in Florida, Sunshine Lindsay invited me to a home meeting, and that was at Matt.
Hey, George, I hate to interrupt you, George, but I'm going to have you speak up just a little bit if you can. Can you?
Okay, sure.
Okay, there you go.
I was invited to Matt Curtis's home in Florida, and I listened to the presentation, and it was quite a bit more advanced than when I heard about Monavie years ago. So I went to another meeting down there, and Steve Merritt was there, and that's when it got started. And I was impressed with the science behind the product. Now you have the Dr. Talbot in there and his crew. So it fit right in line with, I was more into the research side of health products rather than just take this, it'll help you. And so that's how it began just 2 or 3 months ago down in Florida.
Awesome. Okay, so when you say you were into the research side of it, what does that mean to you? I mean, what does that,
Wayne, a couple decades ago, I had a couple medical labs. And one was the federal-approved CLIA laboratory that did normal blood testing like everybody's familiar with. It's just a game of numbers. If you're within a range, you're fine. If you're outside of a range, the doctor prescribes a medication or a lifestyle change. And then I had another lab that did nutritional microscopy. And that's where they take a finger stick and get a drop of blood and put it under a high-powered phase contrast microscope with video equipment and flip your live blood up on a monitor. And you could see the quality of all the blood components floating in the plasma. And so then you could make lifestyle changes and administer supplements and check it a month later and see if it was any improvement. And so I'm quite familiar with free radical damage because I knew what it looked like. However, I never had the ability to find out how much antioxidants a person had until this view scanner came out. So now with the view scanner, you can actually get a sense in how much of the antioxidants you have in your skin to combat the free radical damage. So that was that sold me immediately. And well, there's a number of issues with Monavie besides the juice and the antioxidants. Most people are not taking into consideration of the minerals in this product. And minerals, to me, were more important than anything else, vitamins or anything else you could do with your body, because without minerals, you're not going to exist. You need that electrical charge. It takes minerals to give you that electrical charge for everything to work, your heart to beat, your muscles to move, your brain to work. So the minerals that you would get would have to come from a plant form. You can't absorb elemental minerals, so you get a plant that absorbs the minerals, and you eat the plant. So with Monavie, you have a situation where they're dealing with plants, fruits, and vegetables from different soils all over the world. So you're going to get those macro minerals and those trace minerals. And so you have a complete product there. So I was sold on the product immediately because you have the minerals in it and you have the antioxidants.
Awesome. So, as a businessman, and you said that you had several businesses, does that mean are you a very busy person?
Well, yeah. I had 7 companies at one time, and I was running all of them. I learned to delegate a little more as I got older, but now I have 5, and that keeps me busy.
So I guess what my question that I'm getting at is, here's someone who has 5 businesses, staying pretty busy, and you still manage to build yet actually another business, that is Monavie. And, bronze executive, for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, consistently hitting a bronze executive level is earning an extra $20,000 a year. That's not too bad, and especially since, just joining just a little after the first of the year. Tell us a little bit about, your view on the business side of Monavie as far as, investment, time, a return on investment is one thing we talked about earlier today when I talked to you. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that and what it took to build some of these other businesses that you had compared to, say Monavie, as far as your ROI goes.
Well, that's a good point, Wayne, because right now Monavie has the products and they have the technology and they have the people. There's tremendous support with the upline. If you're confused about something, you're always going to have an answer, and a very unselfish answer. But on the business side, of course, I have an insurance and securities brokerage firm, and back in the 90s, you could almost throw a dart at a board and get a 25% return with any of these tech stocks. But we all know what happened at the turn of the century. So more people were interested in the return of their money rather than the return on their money. So I just try to get people maybe a 5 to 8% return in a year. Then you had guys like Madoff and Stanford, who was offering 10%, and everybody lost billions of dollars over that, just trying to make 10% in a year. Now, if we can relate it to Monavie, I mean, I don't know, the first few days I was in it, I had my my auto ship paid for, and it was probably a little over a month. I got in on the executive package, so that $1,550 with the scanner, I had that back in a little over a month, but in actual work time, I probably didn't put much more than 8 or 10 hours in. So
wow.
The return on investment there, if you relate it to other investments, all the other businesses that I have, and I'm sure everybody that's in business has a tremendous overhead, whether it's a building or like here at the golf course, you could get wiped out in a month of rain, but you still got to cut the grass and fertilize, and the labor keeps going on. The insurance and securities, or the insurance and the government still beats you up. So you have a lot of expense in normal businesses, but with Monavie, you can get 100% return in less than a month. So that return on investment is nothing. You can't imagine anything better than that, because you really don't have any risk. Remember, you got the product. So you made all your money back, and you still had a chance to consume the product with you and your family and friends. So now that's priceless, because you can't put a price on what health benefits you get from these products. So if you want to put 200% return or 300% return, it's still a monstrous return and very little risk. The only risk is, do you want to do it? I mean, you have to get out and talk to a couple people. But, you can start the ball rolling just by knowing 2 people. So, and then you get plenty of support from above. So it's, on a business side, the return on investment is as good as you're going to get.
George, when we talked today, you said something to me that I thought really struck me, and the more I thought about it, I said, I want to make sure and share this with people, and I want to kind of dig a little bit more. I talked about you going bronze and black tie qualified, and I remember you saying, I really don't know how I did it. or I really don't know what I did to do that, or and I think I understand what you mean by that. Like, you don't know what technically happened, but you do know what you did to do it. In other words, in those 8 hours, tell us a little bit more other than you spent 8 hours. So what did you do in those first 2 days to get the auto ship paid for, And then in the month or so, were you on the phone every day, every minute with Steve, with somebody else? What were you doing in that month when you got to getting your investment back? So tell the people what you did and activities to get it done.
Well, to tell you the truth, Wayne, I was after I had that second meeting with Steve and Matt. My brother was down there, and another good buddy of mine that has a big farm up here, one of the largest farms in the state. And he was down there. We were trying to do some fishing. We didn't catch any, but he was down there. So I just signed those two up immediately, and that was they knew what I did in the past. We talked a little bit about the science, about the product, and then we were using the product down there, and these guys started to feel great after just a few days. So it got them excited, and. But I'd say this, Wayne, in having all the businesses that I have probably tens of thousands of people that I could call. I've been doing this for 50 years, so I mean, I have a client list. It's with every one of the businesses. It's most people don't have that luxury, but everybody knows two people, because I found out very early on you don't need to know 1,000 people. You don't need to know very many people at all. All you have to know is two people. And everybody that you get, they have to know two people. So if everybody knows two people, this should fly along pretty good. And that it took me a couple weeks to understand that. I was just trying to call a few people that I knew and just sign them up. But I want people that'll get into a star position where they're going to get two of their closest friends or family involved and use the product. I don't want them to go out and sell juice. I want them to just use the product, and they'll see the benefits. So that's probably as much as I could add in a short period of time, Wayne. It's not.
No, I like it because it's simple and basic. So basically, you said you have tens of thousands of people on the client list that you could call. And it took you just a little bit to realize you really don't need that many people. You just need two people. And if everybody just comes up with two people, this thing will move along quite well. And that's exactly right. And I love how simple and basic you put it. And that's why we like hearing from new people, because sometimes those of us that have been here for a while, George, sometimes we complicate things a little. I think, one of the things I've struggled with this business, and especially I've had a couple other businesses too, is your other businesses, like your securities and exchange company, the golf, those are very complex companies, right? I mean, that's not just something you whip together. There's a lot of complexity there. And then I think some people get into a business like ours that is really pretty simple, paint by numbers, 1, 2, 3 type thing, and yet we tend to complicate it. Let me ask one last question, and my last question is to somebody out there who may know someone like you. In other words, they know an entrepreneur that may have 5, 7 businesses or whatnot. Oftentimes. People are intimidated to talk to someone in a position like that. Sometimes they may think, hey, gosh, this guy's got 5 businesses. I've been to his golf course, this or that. I don't even think he'd be interested. They might judge. What would you tell someone that could be talking to a business owner? What could you tell them that would be like a buzzword or a buzz sentence, something that would catch that business owner's attention? Is there anything you could share? Like, I don't know if you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah. Wayne, I'll tell you, I believe everybody's interested in their health. Remember, a business guy, he busts his backside to get where he's at, and he certainly doesn't want to break down when he's able to start enjoying things. So you just got to stress the benefits of these products, because there's nothing like them. I mean, for you to get the Reveal Shake and be endorsed by the International Olympic Committee, the Total Complete Meal, everybody that's a businessman is going to enjoy the taste and the response they're going to receive from that product. So, and then you add the juices to it, and all you got to dwell on is is the health benefits. Try this, see if you receive any benefits from it. I mean, some people might not want to give a bottle away. A lot of times I give a bottle away so they can, I want them to feel obligated, of course, but I want them to give me some feedback. And
right.
But I would say that you'd have to probably approach a sophisticated person more on the health benefits than anything. And they're all on something. They'll all tell you, I'm using this, I have that, my doctor says this, my nutritionist says that, but you just got to get them to a tasting and let them try to sample the products. And I mean, it's pretty tough to steer somebody away from the program they're doing. I realize that. I mean, they all think that they have the right answers, but and naturally everybody would hate to be a pest and keep pestering the person. I mean, don't spend too much time on a person. If you have a lot of rejection, we've all gotten rejection in any business we're in, and that's just a normal thing. But persistency in different periods of time. In other words, if you approach somebody one week, don't keep approaching them every week and give them a rough time. You might see them 6 months or so later. Just go on to the next person. There's plenty of people out there. And
awesome.
Come back to that person eventually. That's what I did in insurance. I mean, I got beat up sometimes 2, 3, 4 years in a row. But I kept coming back, and pretty soon they says, well, we better give this guy a chance. He's certainly here every year. So you go in there not to be a nuisance, but a timely progression of getting in the door.
Excellent, excellent. Well, George, thank you so much for coming and sharing on the call tonight. We really do appreciate you. And keep us posted when you guys are having some more meetings out there, and we'll come on over and see you.
Oh, we're going to start going heavy duty here in another 2 or 3 weeks. Right now, it's just opening up, and we had a bad spring, so
okay,
we'll be moving heavy duty here shortly.
Sounds great. All right, George Aubrey, new bronze executive, and congratulations for Black Tie. George, you really don't know what you're headed into, but you are going to have a lot of fun at this next convention that we're having, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say after you experience our Black Tie event. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wayne. All right.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All righty, guys. So listen, this is a rarity next. I'm actually going to be one of the speakers, and I thought, how can I kind of mix this up a little bit? And so I thought, you know what, let me have Stephanie on the phone. You very rarely get to hear from her, but she is a great speaker, and she's rolling her eyes at me. Anyway, I'm going to have Stephanie, I'm going to interview her for us a little bit at the beginning here. And Steph, what I'd like you to do is just from your viewpoint, tell people, what it was like, what we were doing right before we got involved in Monavie. What were we doing?
Well, hi everybody. This is Steph. Right before we started Monavie, we were kind of starting our own way into being like entrepreneurs and self-employed. And Wayne was, doing like some mentoring, and we had some properties that we owned. So we were kind of new to that, and we were making money and enjoying that. But we saw that there were certain times of the year where, he wasn't working a lot, or, like an apartment wasn't kind of rent. It was the middle of winter, So we did see a need for some kind of extra income. We just didn't know what it was going to be, and we did not think it was going to be juice.
Awesome. So, yeah, and you're exactly right. I do remember that. I remember thinking, January, February, March, or January and February, they weren't calling me out to mentor as much, so things were slow. So, Steph, I remember when I first got the juice, because someone shared 2 bottles with me. What was you guys, she was not on board. I wasn't even on board. I told the person who shared Monavie with me over the phone you're crazy. I don't want to get involved in a juice business. I'm in real estate. It was one of the hottest industries at the time, and he was my real estate mentor, a Kiyosaki mentor. He was a millionaire, by the way. His name was Wayne as well, and I told him he was crazy. And then another lady named Ulery called me a week later and said, hey, Wayne, did you get involved yet in Monavie? And I said, Ulery, no, I didn't. You guys are crazy. We're in real estate. Is there something I don't know going on? Because I'm pretty sure we have one of the hottest things going on right now. Leave me alone with the juice. And then she shipped me 2 bottles. She sent me 2 bottles for Christmas. This was December of 2007. And when they arrived, Steph, tell them a little bit about what you were saying as I was drinking the juice. What were some of the things you were telling me?
Wow. When the juice came, I was really mad because not only was he kind of talking to some people about, his magic juice that's supposed to cure everything and make you feel better, but he got the actual bottles. And I thought, I hope this stuff tastes like garbage because if he likes this, we're in trouble. Because when Wayne gets passionate about something, it's 24/7. And I thought, this is not going to be what we do. And, the person who mailed him the bottles was, oh, this stuff's great. It's going to make you feel so good. And, I told him, will you drink your juice and I will plant a couple magic teams in the backyard and we'll watch what happens first, So I was very, very against it. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't know anything about nutrition as much as I thought I did. And, coming to terms with how he felt in those 2 weeks drinking those 2 bottles, I got really interested because I saw a big change in him, a big change. So that got me interested, and I think we just, at that point thought we'll just drink this and not tell anybody.
Awesome, hon. And I remember I went on that mentoring to Indianapolis, and Stephanie came with me, and I was training students for 3 days. And guys, they used to pay $10,000 to $15,000 for me to come spend 3 to 4 days with them to mentor them. And these mentorships were 10 and 12 hour long days. And I brought Steph out there. She hung out in the hotel and went shopping or did whatever until I came back. And each night, I was coming back, and what had happened is I ran out of the juice right before this weekend, and each night I came back, I was like I was getting beat up, right?
I think you lost your voice halfway through. All the shoulder pains that you had, gotten over all came back. You basically got hit by a truck that weekend. You were a mess, and I was like, you just need to get some more of this juice. This crazy juice that I was throwing a fit about. I'm like, it's worth it. It's worth it. Let's buy it. We got to get it.
Right. So our whole way home from Indianapolis, all I could think about was I got to order some of this juice when I get home. And that's what I did. And I'll never forget, it came in early January. We signed up January 10th. When that UPS backed into our driveway, I was out in the driveway with a box cutter, literally drinking a bottle out in the driveway. I just needed it. My shoulder, I was just a mess. So that's how it got started. And then many of you have heard me tell the story where Mike Hernandez gave me a call, and he said, hey, Wayne, I heard you don't want to build this business. And I said, yeah, Mike, I could care less about running around, hawking juice. I said, my wife and I and the kids, actually we just had Carter at the time, we're just going to be closet drinkers. We're not telling anybody about this stuff. And at that time, Mike had been in for about 19 months, and he said, Wayne, I'm making $8,000 to $10,000 a week. Are you sure you don't want to hear my story? Well, he caught my attention there. Okay, and I said, sure, Mike, what do I got to do? And long story short, I shared some bottles, just like George was just talking about. There's costs involved in doing business, and I'm sure George could tell you that in all his businesses, he did tell you. He said, hey, if we have a rainy month and there's not a lot of people that come out and golf, they still got to fertilize the grass. They still got to pay for their labor. They have all kind of costs of business. They're a lot higher than $30 for a bottle of juice. So I shared 5 bottles of that juice. I shared it to my grandma, mom, dad, pastor friend, and a guy in Cleveland. And many of you have heard that story, and they all had amazing results on that product. My phone started blowing up on the 6th day that I did that. My mom was the first one. And I went out and I met with them. I heard their stories. I heard what was going on. And you know what? They all said the same thing. How do I get another bottle? And I said, you know what? I don't even have any bottles because I shared all that I had. I only bought 2 cases when I joined Monavie. When I joined Monavie, I bought a case for Steph and a case for me. And before they came in, 6 people wanted to try the juice. Well, those are 8 bottles. So our 8 bottles show up. We hand out 6. I hand one to Steph, and then I open one. And we kind of look at each other and go, okay, in 1 week, what are we going to do? Because we're out of juice again. So then I ordered 1 case like an idiot because 1 case is like the most expensive one almost you can buy. You know, the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. We order 1 case, and before that case comes in, those 6 people that we shared product with, they wanted to try more. So we handed out the case when it came in. I said, man, we still aren't even, everybody else is drinking the juice but us. So we realized, we went into our back office. Back then, we didn't have any kind of Thirsty Thursday call or any kind of leadership that we were plugging into, and it wasn't anyone's fault but ours. When I got involved with Monavie, I heard about this guy named Brig, and he was this long-haired, short leprechaun guy. I mean, he talked a mile a minute and all this stuff, and I thought, I'm not following him. I built a successful real estate business, and I'm a Robert Kiyosaki mentor. I don't need to follow this little GPS book. You know, why do I need to follow that? This can't be that hard. All I got to do is share the stuff. And I share that with you because it's an important thing for people to realize is this. And I don't know why I didn't get the concept of following a successful path, because that's what I did in real estate. I did exactly what the guys taught me. Of course, here's the difference. I paid $18,000 to go get training. Stephanie sat with me. We went through the meetings together, and we traveled all over the country. We paid $18,000 to get the classes. Then we paid about $3,000 a trip times 4 trips, and we had a mentor come out at one time. And I followed everything those guys said. In a 90-day period, I acquired 12 properties without using any of my own money. I even bought our property, our house, for $6,400 without using my own money. We fixed it up without using my own money, refinanced it, and I put all kind of money in my pocket. Now, this isn't a real estate course or training, and I get that. What I'm trying to say is I should have understood the need or the importance of following a system. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because I only invested a couple of $100. I don't know. And I say that to people all the time. I'm like, listen, if you would have invested 20, 50, 80, 100 grand, you would read the book from page cover to cover like every day to get this thing done. So I took all the time to say this part of my business, because I went gold in 90 days. But I didn't go gold in 90 days because someone said, sign up 5 here, sign up 5 there, help them get 2, do this, do that, follow this system. Honest to God, I didn't do it that way. I did it with it was like ignorance on fire. I was like a little duplicate of Mike Hernandez, okay? And so I went out there enthusiastic and excited, and people were joining, but I wasn't duplicating. And then I went 10 months to Ruby and 14 months to Emerald. I went all the way to Emerald before I really started paying attention to the system, okay? So for those of you that aren't, on your lifelong learning, you haven't gotten an MVP kit, maybe you haven't gotten a junior or senior kit, you came in on 2 cases and that's your auto ship, but you haven't gotten an MVP kit. If you want to do the business, I don't know what you're planning on doing, but you're doing what I did in the beginning, so I know where you're at, okay? But I want to tell you this. I bought 36 cases of juice like in the 3rd week of the business because I could not believe what I was hearing from people and their results with the product. That's like over $3,000 worth of product at that time. And I went out passing out the stuff like candy. And this isn't what I'm telling you to do. I'm not suggesting you go do this, okay? But if you want to do it your own way, you better have deep pockets and you better have patience, because you're going to have to learn some things the hard way like I did. So I went Emerald in 14 months, and then I watched it gradually decline. It was a slow decline, but it declined. It declined so bad that at one time, Stephanie and I were having a hard time paying basic bills like mortgage payments, water payments, electric payments. We didn't know what to do. Here's a guy that graduated with a 1.3 GPA and had no idea what to go do. I had the best job in town. I worked for General Motors, but I severed ties with them. Well, when I finally got myself together and got over myself and said, hey, Wayne, come on. If you did it once, you can do it again. And I totally believe in that. And I shook myself and looked in the mirror and said, shake it off. Let's go out there and let's do this. Well, then what I did is I got serious about the system. And I learned where I made my mistakes. I learned that I built the business on a personality. I learned that, I wasn't really going and helping people to the degree that I should have. And I tell you what, Steve Merritt, George, who just spoke, the leaders that speak on this call each and every week, we all have your best interest at hand, and we want to help you. And that's why I went out to Texas this last weekend, or these last few days. I told my personal enrolled Heather Rogers out there in Texas, I said, here's the deal. I have a goal for you. I want you to get in 5 people, and I want you to get the first lady that you got in, Joanne. I want you to have her get in 5 people. That's 10 people, and I'm going to come visit you. That's all I want. Can we do this? And she said, yeah, Wayne, we can do it. And she did. She went bronze. They actually went over 10 people. I think by the time I got there, it was closer to 15. We had a great open meeting in Plano, Texas. There was 30-some-odd people there. And I went, and you know what I got to do? I got to meet all these new people. And that was the number one thing that I wanted to do. I heard the stories about Steve Merritt and Mike Hernandez going to New Jersey to do an open meeting, the first open meeting, and 2 people showed up. They rented out a hotel and everything else. And Heather had 35-some people there. And I said, Heather, great job. You're already doing better than Mike and Steve did years ago. You got 35 people in here. And I said, listen, you got 200,000 people in Plano, Texas, and there's 35 in attendance. Oh, my gosh, am I excited. We are going to tear this town up. And I spent some one-on-one time with some of the people in my team. I met some new people getting ready to start, like Heather and Addie and different people. And I spoke with Addie today. He's a professional soccer player from the UK. He played against Joe Maxmore and some of the other soccer players that were in our sports brochure a few years back. But he said something so interesting to me, because we did a training and I was going through the GPS manual. And I said, hey, Addie, I'm sorry. I wanted to get through more of that book yesterday, but people had questions, and we really all got to talking and sharing. And he said something that I say all the time. He said, Wayne, it's okay. It's not about what you say, but how you said it. And the way that you were saying things was making sense to me, and it's what I was looking for. And you don't know how that made me feel. It was like, a breath of fresh air, and it's so true, guys. And that's important with everything that you do in this business. It's not important so much as what you say, but how you say it. What kind of confidence, what kind of heart do you have behind it? Because I've learned one thing in this business, and that is that people do not care what you know until they know that you care, okay? And going over there and spending time with that Texas team, if there's anything they came away from those last few days, is they know that I care for them, and I do. I got to learn their whys. I made sure I asked everybody that I had a time to talk with, what was their why? Because I know that when I'm here and I tell my wife that I'm heading to Cleveland and I'm leaving her and my 3 beautiful kids, I got to know that I know that there is something of great value that I'm going to do. And that's what fuels me in this business. Going out there and knowing that this one wants a better school for his kid. This one wants something more in his future or her future. And so I told them that's what I needed. I needed to know there was a more meaningful life for people if I'm going to come out here. And so I hope that, sharing this is touching someone tonight, because if you're new in this business, it sometimes is a little overwhelming, the type of support that is available to you. Don't be afraid of it, and don't fight it. Accept it and just realize that we are people who truly believe that when you become blessed, you have to bless others. And so those of us that are blessed in this business, with either skills or income or health or whatever it is. We simply want to bless others. Was there a whole ton of people that signed up while I was in Texas? No. Did we have like 50 new guests at that meeting? No. And it's okay. It was our first meeting, and what was most important is I connected with each and every person on my team that was present. So you're going to drive out sometime to do a meeting for somebody, and it's going to flop. None of their people are going to show up. It's just going to be them maybe. And you know what? Stay positive. Take that moment. Take them out to ice cream. Go out to get a coffee. Get to know them a little bit. Make the best use of that time. Look at that as a time to actually connect one-on-one with your person, because I'm telling you what, the next time it's going to be different. And I'll give you one last example of something that happened in Texas that I think will be helpful, and I'm going to bring Steve on. I had a guy come the night of the open meeting, and he was by himself. He didn't bring anybody. I'm sure he invited people. It was his first time, to an open meeting, and whatever. Well, we had the training the night after, and he called me up, and he said, "Hey, Wayne, can I bring a guest?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, bring a guest." And it's because I understood where he was coming from. I can remember when I first saw Steve and Gina Merritt in Cleveland. I was all by myself. If they would have told me they were doing another meeting tomorrow at the same place, you better believe I would have had a guest with me because of what I experienced at that meeting. And so I know that for this gentleman, when he came, he got an experience. I left an effect on him. I affected him in some way. He had a level of confidence that if I could only get someone in front of Wayne to hear this the way Wayne put it, I think this person could get in the business. And so I said, yeah, bring him on. Bring him on. And I just want to tell you, you know who you are. I am so proud of you. Congratulations. I know it was meant to be a team meeting, but you know what? We did a training on how to do an HBR, and we went right into a team meeting. And guys, that's what is so important about this business, is just uplifting people, encouraging them. They have their job telling them they're not hitting quotas. They have their wife telling them stuff. Sometimes they have their friends telling them stuff and other coworkers. Sometimes people that come into this business, we're the only positive avenue into their life. So don't take this opportunity ever to sow any negative seeds into somebody. They have enough of that. Monavie is a more meaningful life. And when you come into Monavie, we're all about having a good time, having fun, getting the job done, but making friends and making relationships and a more meaningful life for everyone involved, upmost and at the top. So listen, I'm glad we got a chance to share. Steph, you did a fantastic job. I love you, hon. Great job, Sharon. Thank you so much, babe. So listen, I want to bring on next Steve and Gina Merritt, Crown Black Diamonds in Monavie. Like I said, you already heard how I met Steve a few years ago. I drove through a blizzard to meet him, and anytime he comes anywhere near me, I'm off going to see him because I always learn something new. And it's always a blizzard, Steph says. But one thing I will say is this also. Remember what I said about people had to pay 10 or 15 grand for me to come out to train them in real estate. Now, of course, I never saw that money. I saw a fraction of it. The Kiyosaki group got that money. But they were paying that for me to come out and see them. And I'm telling you, I don't make the kind of money Steve makes. But one day, I hope I do. I'm focused on that someday. But what I want to say is this. Anytime someone like Steve or Mike or one of these Black Diamonds comes in, I could stay there all night. I don't even care if I'm 2 hours from my house. You know, it's not every day that a person who's changed, and it's not even about Steve making all this money. He's making all this money because he's helped, I can't remember the number, 100 and some other people become millionaires. So anytime I get a chance to hear Steve, as much as I consider him even a friend, just to call him up and say, hey, how you doing, partner, how you doing? And I do consider Steve a friend, but I never forget that he's also my upline, and he's also like a mentor to me, and I have the utmost respect for him in that. And so when I go out to Cleveland or I go to wherever I'm at, I'm going to receive something. I'm going expecting. I'm not just going like, oh, I'm going to see my friend Steve again. Oh, yeah, that too. But more importantly, I'm going because I know I want to be like him. I want to be where he's at. And every time there's something that's shared that goes into my spirit and into my heart that encourages me, motivates me to want to do more and to build this business more. So, Steve, I appreciate you. I love you like a brother, like a friend, but I also really appreciate you as one of the top leaders in our company. And I'm just really glad that you come on this call each and every week and everything that you've done for us. So, Steve Merritt, Crown Black Diamond at Montevideo, and I'm not sure if Gina's with us. Take it away, Steve.
Hey, Wayne, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, Steve.
Great. I'm actually driving, coming home from meetings today. I was down in South Florida for the last couple days. We got a house down there. Gina was with me. She's actually stayed back with my daughter Mia because my daughter Mia is getting married this summer, and they're busy doing some wedding planning, which is one of the reasons why you might want to build a business. You know, Wayne, you got little kids, and you know one day they're going to get married. And it's nice to have, I'm glad that we built the business because if I think back, my wife and I were talking the other day, we wouldn't be so comfortable and relaxed with what my daughter wants for her wedding, and we're excited to be able to give her the best. So anyways, I just have enjoyed this call. I don't know if those of you that are on this call are understanding the information that you're getting, but, Wayne and Stephanie, just to hear a couple that's just relatable and doing it together. And, yeah, do they want to have more for their family, more for their friends, a higher ranking? Yeah, but, they went emerald in the business, and they're going diamond. They're out there blessing people, going out there making it happen, and understand that that's what success in this business is all about. Sometimes it looks like you're not getting somewhere where you'd like to be, but that's how you build this business. I went all the way to Canada to help my friend Al Huva, and his top person at his home meeting, the best and sharpest guy there was his 14-year-old son, Travis. And we traveled 4,000 miles to go there. The next day I did what you did, Wayne. I rolled up my shirt sleeves, got his list out, helped him make phone calls, went over to the ice rink. I was freezing cold because he's a Zamboni driver by trade. That's what he did. And, nobody knows when or how they're going to get in the business, but most people are looking and praying for an opportunity. I mean, everyone. If you lay tile, like my friend John, who's made millions in the business with me, just like my friend Al has. And by the way, we're up to 143 friends that we've helped make $1 million since I got back from Brazil this past weekend, where we had over 8,000 screaming folks. I mean, I'm telling you, my friends in Brazil are fired up about not only, the exciting thing what I was really interested in was Mauricio Bellaro, our new CEO and president, made a neat comment about when we gave away 2 free Mercedes there in Brazil. By the way, I just got back from Lisbon with Gina where we had over 4,500 screaming folks from countries all over Europe, and we gave away 3 Mercedes in Europe. So there were 3 Mercedes given away in Europe. 2 of them were from Poland, and everyone that went to Poland when they first brought the Montevideo product said that it'll never work here in Poland. So if you live in a city, just like I live in my town here in Florida, and the minute you get started, everybody says it's not going to work, it won't work here, or, they've heard of Montevideo. In my case, they've never heard of mine. It doesn't really matter. That's a sign that it's going to work. So just be ready for an explosion, because when I went to Brazil, I had to go there for almost 3.5 years. I got a 5-year visa, and I've only got about a half year left on it, so I've been going there for over 4.5 years, and it wasn't until just past the 3.25-year mark where things started to happen, where my one friend, Claude, who was in the business for a while, hadn't done anything. So just like I hadn't done anything when I got in the business, he had done nothing. 18 months, he made the decision, that's you on this call, if you decide that this is my time, this is my moment for my family and myself, 18 months later, he went Black Diamond in Montevideo in Brazil, turned the entire country upside down. Since then, they've been growing at a rate of growth. Last year was over 3,000% growth rate, one of the fastest growing countries. But, I mean, go back to it. I was depressed when I go there because I talked to hundreds of people in America, sometimes thousands, and I would go there and there was 3 people in a room yawning, couldn't wait to leave the building because they didn't think it's. The acai berry is grown there, is what they told me. What do we need the acai berry for? They're in all we sell them in all the markets. So we changed our pitch to we've got 19 wild fruits and exotic berries, not just the acai berry. And I asked my friend, hey, Monavie says that if we don't turn this thing around, they are going to shut your country down. They can't afford to run it here anymore because it's a losing battle. That was only no more than a year and a half ago. They were going to shut the country of Brazil down, and we chose. My friends chose to turn the remotes off their TV sets. So I don't know where you're at in life, but would you choose to turn your remote off, set it down, and decide to build the business just like my friends in Brazil did, just like I did? I actually put my remote down 7 years ago and decided to build a business. But the key thing is a couple black diamonds broke there. Go to our Facebook. You can find it. Just Google or go on Facebook and put Stephen G. and it'll pop right up. 2 white diamonds. I've got pictures of all the checks, the monthly checks that the people are getting anywhere. It starts at around $20,000 a month U.S. So when they say $30,000, I guess it starts at $15,000 because 30,000 real is half. So I don't know if you could use an extra on the side, because you only built this part-time. You don't quit your job. You don't need to quit your job because it's a part-time business. We only build it. The reason I'm coming home now is because we build it at night during the time when you're supposed to, when everyone else is watching their Kardashians. This is all we choose to do. And, you go to meetings like one person said, well, first of all, a pilot, when I called him, and my neighbor said, why would I do it? I'm a pilot. His wife's a flight attendant, bumped into Gina, found out we were making $5,000 a week, and then she said, I don't know what my bozo husband was thinking. Now they've made millions. She signed up her sister, lived 3 hours away. Gina and I were driving. They said, don't come. We went anyway. They invited one more person. Now all of those 3 couples made millions of dollars in Monavie. So just like Wayne is saying, you go there, you might not see this major explosion, but the fact that you planted a seed and you told them, hey, the information is all in the GPS book. Starting at page 17, we go through the exact 10 steps, beginning with your why. And if you don't have a big enough why, then you won't drive 3 hours when they tell you not to come. If you've been told don't come and you didn't go, that's not what I did. So I just want to kind of highlight that you're going to be doing things that most people would never do because you didn't invest a lot of money. Giving out a bottle of juice instead of in my ski business when I started that company, I had to go get a loan to get the ski boats. Then I had to get a loan for the equipment. Everything about it was going to the bank. Here, you're just going and you're placing a bottle. You're wondering why a guy sponsored 10 people. He's qualified for the black tie. He said he placed bottles. I don't know if you heard that. We're suggesting that you get your senior kit and you go out and you scan 30 people and you place 30 bottles in 30 days, meaning that if I went to Wayne's house and I drink with him and Stephanie, I might have a half a bottle left. I'll place the rest of that bottle after I got their antioxidant score, and within a couple days I follow up. I either signed them up right then because I said, hey, look at Wayne, Gene and I are building this business. We're going to put somebody in tomorrow, and they're going to go underneath you, and you're going to get paid up to $10,000 a week for the people we put underneath you. Do you want better health and could you use an extra $1,000, $2,000, up to $10,000 a week? Yes, I could. Let me get signed up. Show a sense of urgency to these folks and tell them, hey, you know what? You got something to lose if you don't get in now. Because my 2 brother-in-laws got in just before a gal I sponsored put in 100 people in 5 days, and they got businesses. I got businesses all over the world. In fact, we got a Royal Black Diamond in Australia from this one gal that my 3 daughters babysat for. She didn't want to. Let me help you on this. Did you hear how Wayne said they weren't interested? I wasn't interested. This gal who sponsored 100 people, she wasn't it. Nobody that I've helped out of 143 friends wanted to get started in this business, in this industry, promoting a nutritional beverage, but they all wanted the end result. So what I did was what George was saying, how when he placed that bottle, he knew they would start getting a feeling, or they would start getting a result from the product. And then also, he knew that that you're getting the people to think. So by starting the conversation of, hey, I don't want to do this, but, you lay tile, John. You can't lay tile for the rest of your life. Oh, yeah. now I can pick that bottle up and sign him up because he's thinking the whole time like, Steve, he's right. I can't lay tile. I mean, even if you're a chiropractor, you can't do that for the rest of your life. I mean, people are getting bigger every day. You can't do that for the rest. Jobs have changed. So you've got to really get your friends to think. Every one of my friends said they didn't want to do it, but eventually they get started sooner or later. Just like George said, he's not going around looking desperate, but he's making it happen. I thought this was interesting about the guys in Brazil, the ones that are making big checks. Some of them, if you look on my Facebook page, 2 million real, it's $1 million US, by the way. We could use an extra $1 million. We tell people we want to help you make an extra $1 million, but here's what they told me. They said, Steve, we put our remotes down when you asked us, and we went out and we did one plan a day. That's how they started. Kind of like me, when I got in, when Charlie, my upline, couldn't come to help, we decided that we would do a meeting a week. Then we built it up to 2 meetings a week. So can you start setting a goal, making some commitments? That's the third step in the 10-step pattern. After you set a goal to go gold, why don't you set a goal to go gold and set a goal to win the mini iPad? You got till May 4th, and come to the black tie event. Get yourself everything paid for by going gold before Salt Lake City. All your expenses are paid for. Imagine having a business where they're saying, hey, look, all you got to do is go gold. Basically gold, just to help you out. It's on your one-on-one brochure. Put that on your refrigerator. You put 5 people right, 5 people left. They got to get on auto ship. They got to want to build a business. If they just want to drink, that's great. Sign them up, but they don't count on your fridge. And then you got to help them get their 2 of 2 people that want to build a business. You're looking at $1,000 a week. You're going to get yourself a free paid-for trip to the convention in Salt Lake at the end of August, and you're going to come to the black tie, experience it, start showing your friends. I mean, once my friends started seeing what was happening to us, my wife getting a free Mercedes, that's when Al, the Zamboni driver, got started in the business. So set some goals and write them down and say I'm going to do it, and then make a commitment to show the plan once a day. If you haven't signed up for Salt Lake City, I mean, there's nobody in my business that succeeded that didn't sign up for Salt Lake City. So make sure you are signed up for that event, and by going gold, it's for free. There's BBS's coming up in June. Make sure there's one coming up in California. I'm sorry I don't have the date right here, but it's coming up like in the next week or 2. It could even be this weekend. Randy Schrader, Todd Hartog, Lance Smith, all the team's going to be out there. If you know somebody in California, send them to the BBS, or better yet, fly out there and take them there. Do the same thing with the ones going through the Midwest, the ones going through the Northeast, down in the South. Make sure you know where they're at and you plan on getting there. Yeah, isn't it going to be an expense? The ticket's $25. You heard what Wayne was saying, how much people paid to come to a Robert Kiyosaki seminar. This is doable. Robert Kiyosaki says the best business to be in, get his book, Business for the 21st Century, is this industry the fastest way to get cash flowing in your family. Was it worth flying out to go to a $25 seminar? Mark McDonald and myself are going to be at some of them, Holly and Corbin. There's a whole list. I haven't looked to see who all the speakers are, but everyone in there is probably in the book that said they've made $1 million in Monavie. Is it worth that an ordinary people are doing this and making it happen? You might want to get a ticket. That's how you succeed, and you go and you make it happen. So make sure, I mean, the number one thing you could do to win in Monavie is go to Salt Lake City. That's the number one priority. If you're not going, you're missing the number one thing. The number 2 thing is to go to a business building seminar. That's the rules, the laws, how you win in this industry. That's the number 2 most important thing. Number 1 thing to make money is income generating activity. Show the plan. So these guys said they went from 1 a day to 2 a day to 3 a day up to now they're doing 5 to 6 plans a day. And the one guy said the reason why the other guy went presidential before him, KO told him the reason why KO went presidential a few months before him was because he started showing the plan 2 times a day more than he was. So more than Marcus was. So I thought that was interesting. Got a little competition going, but they're learning why ask yourself, have you been showing the plan? You want to check like that, 10, 20, 30,000 a month. Are you showing the plan 5, 6 times a day? I mean, that's it. I mean, basically, my wife came out of the house and said, Steve, why is there circles all over our family van? I said, man, I met a friend. He had a dream. I had some juice, but I didn't have any paper. I drew the plan on the side of the van, That's how I built the business. I was in a zone. We didn't have a flip chart. We didn't have nice one-on-one brochures. We did none of that. But you got to get in a zone, showing it one time a night, going to someone's house. What do you say? Hey, Wayne, this is Steve. I'm coming over. I got some new wellness technology you have got to see. Get the kids ready. Get the wife ready. I'm going to show you. We're going to find out what's your antioxidant score. I got this new technology. And you go, who wouldn't want you to come over? I mean, just from that excitement. I'm not even an excited type person. I'm a competitor. I'm actually a coach. I'm tough on you. But if I have to be a little upbeat to bring my wife home from work, that is what I'm going to do. You do the same thing, but you're going to have to make the phone calls and, believe me, and talk to the people. But just talking to them and not getting the result of being there, drinking the Monavie, remember I said a half a bottle of juice, getting their scan, getting their score, writing it down in the one-on-one brochure. Are you doing that? If you're not on the lifelong learning and got the new DVD, I actually just ordered. They're in my trunk in my car on the way home. When I get done with my meetings, I just say, hey, in my trunk, if anybody wants to learn how to get this thing done, I got 50 March lifelong learning CDs because they're so informational. I mean, Scott, Renita, Brandon are in there telling you what to do with the view. My friend Matt and Kim Curtis. I mean, you can't hardly drive down the road and listen to him, and you're feeling so good. When you get out of the car, you're going to talk to somebody because you know what to say. Mike Hernandez telling you how he went from digging through garbage to me. If you haven't clicked on auto ship, Lance Smith and myself are teaching you how to use the tools, how to use the one-on-one brochure. You need to get up tonight when you can't sleep after this call. Go and click on the lifelong learning and start getting it delivered once a month with your book and get yourself believing in yourself so that you can start. And the belief in yourself is so you know how to build the business. Again, I don't know how much college costs because I never went. But I know for $29.99 a month, instead of going out to a dinner and feeding your brain so that you can think like a successful winner is going to bless you and your family, that's what we're all about doing. But I can't do that for you. If you don't think you are worth $29.99 a month, and if you're not promoting that and telling your team, hey, Steve doesn't have anyone on his team that's not on the lifelong learning that's succeeded. Nobody to gold. I mean, I don't even tell my upline I sign somebody up if they're not on the lifelong learning. So I don't know what you're doing, but in order to have the success that we've got, you're going to want to get people plugged in and doing the right thing. And if you don't know what lifelong learning is, then you're going to have to go look at it on the website and get yourself signed up for it. This might be the first time you heard about it because your upline might not have told you about it. You want to start building this business the right way, just like Wayne is talking about. Get yourself fired up about the iPad promotion and what's happening out there so that you can plug in and do it. They just had great business building seminars jam-packed in Canada this weekend. I don't know if you know about it, but I mean, if you didn't have one in your area, I hope you flew into that seminar to hear Lance and Tracy Smith and Mark McDonald and Rex Crane. So that's what you got to do to get around the excitement and make it happen. What does all this excitement mean for us, that all the checks I was telling you about Brazil? It means that, hey, the potential we have here, we know now that Latinos build a business because all the Brazilians, there's more Brazilians here in America than there are probably in Brazil. You need to make sure that you're talking to the folks just like them, asking your friends, do they know somebody in Brazil? You can get yourself an international business. We know that they build it. Right now we don't have too many Latinos in our meetings. This is a great news for every one of you. If you think about how much it just expanded your business to the next level. They're saying that in the next 10 years, 50 to 60 million people are going to be getting in this industry. Community commerce, network marketing, multi-level direct selling. You can call it what you want to call it, but they're going to get in this industry. Why? Because the government is changing the way business can be done. Businesses don't want to hire people and pay for all their medical expense insurance, so they're only hire all the full-time employees, so they're going to hire everybody part-time. So now a guy that works there has got to get 2 part-time jobs, and he pays for his own insurance. I mean, think about this. The medical team, I mean, I just got done working with doctors for the last 2 days. They're all built now. Again, they're sponsoring folks just like me that never went to school, other doctors, other technicians, all different kinds of people. We're not just working with doctors, but they're saying, hey, look, we got to do something. And they're saying, hey, you better be drinking your Monavie juice and taking your Reveal like George was saying, because you're going to have to take responsibility for your own health, because the medical guys, they can't take it anymore. They got to see 50-plus patients a day, and they got to move on. They're sick and tired of meeting friends like my friend Matt Curtis or myself that haven't had jobs for 7 years, and they want some freedom so that they can get to know. And if they can become a doctor and do what they did, they confidently know they can build this business and make it happen. What do you want to do after this call? What would you suggest doing? What I suggest you doing is get yourself some juice. George talked about it. Wayne talked about placing bottles. You got to get your scanner. If you don't have a scanner, you got to get one. This is a whole new day. This wellness technology is drawing out all types of different caliber of people than when I first got started. So you want to get out there in the next 30 days, go out and scan 30 people in the evening. Now, what I do is I book a lot of times 3 meetings when I'm going to go see one-on-one, because I'm bringing my wife with me. I want to make sure that I'm going to be productive. And if I get hung up with my friend that wants to get in the business, and he says, I got 2 other friends, I'm going to go help him get his 2 that night, I'm going to cancel one of my one-on-ones that I'm doing. Say, hey, Bob, I can't make it. That technology I told you about is taken off so much, I'm going to have to come see you later in the week. What are you doing Friday night? So you want to. Some people say, hey, my meeting canceled, like they're excited about that. I'm like, man, I am setting myself up to win. If the way you win is get out and show this plan in the evening, I'm going to make sure I'm going to go for 30. That new 14-page flip chart, the one-on-one brochure, you can get through in 30 minutes and get to the next one. You place in your bottle. You make sure you don't leave, because Gina's made me go back. I get out of the house. I say, how good that I did? She said, man, you showed the plan real good, but you never made that follow-up. Now you got to go embarrass yourself, knock on the door, and set up a follow-up meeting to follow up and pick your materials off. You give them the MV365 magazine. You point to the pictures that you think relate to them after you heard their dream. You've got to hear what their dream is, and then you tell them you got to listen to my friends Corbin and Holly and Mike and Sai in the back, and then get some information on the industry from Paul Zane Pilzer. You get them excited to listen to those CDs, and you pick that up within 24 to 48 hours. You don't wait. You get it going. You make it happen, because there's a sense of urgency the sooner you get in, because Gene and I are building this business. We're putting people in, and you're going to be, every day you are missing out on up to $10,000 a week for the people that we're putting in underneath you. 30, can you do 30 scans and place 30 bottles in the next 30 days? Again, in my ski business, I had to buy inventory. I had to have it on the wall hanging. I had new wetsuits in the boats. You could try some of us came into this industry. You might have owned a flower store before. You got to have flowers, okay? Some flowers die. You throw them out. You get some new ones the next day. Understand the expense of having a business. George does, and so does Wayne. Can you just get out there and do this in 30 days, so that, like I said, start with 1 a day, but you got them 30 bottles and you got yourself your 30 scans and you're ready to go. Take that scanner out, and before you go to bed tonight, write down 5 people that you're going to go see, and you show them the scanner and book a meeting to get to their house. If you don't know their phone number. If you know their phone number, you call them up, say, hey, I'm coming over there Tuesday night. Or what's better for you, Tuesday or Thursday? You don't ask them, do you want me to come over? This is too big of information to wait. And then you tell them, hey, you know what? I do not want to leave here. Again, our strategy is we want to get them in however we can get them in the business. I was on 1 bottle for 90 days, and I went all the way to Crown Black Diamond. So there is no bad way that you can sign somebody up. Obviously, the best way you're going to get out 30 bottles is you got to get a senior kit so you got the product. If you don't get that, get the junior kit. But you know what? If you just want to get on the juice, then get on the juice. But by all means, get yourself an MVP kit, $50. It's the training on how to run your franchise, which is the way of the future, running out of your house, community commerce, cottage-based business. Make sure that you get a starter kit for them, and they got to get on lifelong learning. Do you believe you're worth feeding your brain for $29 a month? If they say no, you might not even want to take your time to build a business with them. You definitely can get them on the juice, so hopefully their brain starts growing a little bit. But you got to get out there and grow. If you read up on Kiyosaki, he says the most important thing in this industry when you're picking a company is not the comp plan or the product. Get that. That's like, again, he just wrote his 2nd book with Donald Trump, and he's saying the best business to be in for cash flow is community commerce, network marketing, business for the 21st century is his book, And then he says the most important thing is not the comp plan or the juice, it's do they have a proven support system. Well, hey, our MVP support system breaks a new diamond. We just breaks a new millionaire. We just broke about 4 in the last 2 months. We broke at least 6 or 7 of them that I personally witnessed in Europe and in Brazil. You know, there was a gal in Brazil that's on our team that actually went to Australia, got into business, was in Australia, plugged in with our team there, Megan Wolfington, who's a Royal in our group, and got to gold basically on her own, then moved back to Brazil and went white diamond, and she's going black right there in Brazil. You know, against all odds. Some of you might be saying, I'm all by myself in my town where I live. Well, guess what? So was I when I got into business. There was nobody in my town. There wasn't even a diamond in Montevideo when I got in. So wherever you're at, that's an opportunity. Like Dr. Miles Monroe says, you know what? It's an opportunity that it's wide open everywhere. But you know what? You're going to have to seize the moment, listen to more CDs than you've ever had before, listen to more of these archived Thirsty Thursday Fridays, get around to the events. But it's not just about listening. It's about doing it. I wasn't good at it. I just started doing the showing the plan 30-30 and started putting people to the right. 5 right, 5 left, help them each get their 2. Is going to be, and some of you know you might be on Facebook, you might be doing, again, if you are not booking a meeting and going to the people's house, then you're not doing what I do. I go to the people's house and I sign them up. I mean, I got so many people want me to go do meetings at their houses, I can't even do all the meetings. So that's what you want to have, but you go to their place and help them. Just because you're Facebooking, that's not going to get you people that are building the, I mean, if you're not, you got to make sure you're doing the right activities. You want to learn how to do the basics. They're right in your GPS book. The first, starting at page 17, it starts with a dream. You got to have a dream or you're not going to want to go talk to somebody. I wanted to bring my wife home from work, so I opened my mouth even though I was nervous. Thought about it for hours, but I finally did. Then you got to set some goals. I'm going to go gold. What do I got to do to go gold? I got to get 5 to the right, 5 to the left. They got to want to build a business. They got to be coming to the events. They got to be plugged on AutoShip on lifelong learning. They're not on lifelong learning, then that doesn't count. You got to go find another one. Same with the first 2 that they sponsor, and all that graph, by the way, is on your one-on-one brochure. If you don't know what that is, it says, do you know your store on the cover? You put that on your refrigerator, and you go at night to go show the plan to people. Sandy, I'm coming over. Charlie, I'm coming over. Bob, I'm coming. I got new wellness technology. You got to see it. Then you're going to do your 4 income generating activities. That's the basics. Making a list. How good are you? Do you have a list for in the morning before you wake up? Because when you wake up, it'll be too crazy. You won't be able to make your list. Are you contacting throughout the day? John, I'm in New York City. I can't talk right now because I'm going from one meeting. The reason why I'm saying this is because this is what I did. You're calling me from New York? Yes, that's what I can. I'm in between meetings. I'm in a taxi. This must be big. Okay, Tuesday you'll be at my house. Yes, I'll be there. And then that's how I built the business. So in between, I went out in my car. I didn't take long Friday lunches like everyone else did, like I did for years. I went and was productive and scanned, like my friend Matt Curtis says, with a purpose. So you want to learn those basics. Start learning how to do them well. Like, you better be ready when people say, I've never heard of Montevideo, or I have heard of Montevideo. Oh, you heard of Montevideo, really? Okay, if you heard so much about it, they just came out with some new wellness technology. Tell me what it is. I don't know. I mean, it's no different. When I started, they said they never heard of mine. It doesn't really matter. They hope you got an answer, because all my friends did not, with an attitude, want to build this business, but they wanted the end results, a lifestyle, so they could have freedom. You better make sure, like my friend Randy Schrader says, be ready and be scripted. The script comes from you getting out there and practicing. And I messed up on the good thing about when your inventory is people, is that you never run out of them. So you're basically practicing on them till you get the right lingo or the right script for you, whatever's for you. Everyone's different. I love to say, hey, this might be a shot in the dark, Wayne, but I think I'm onto something. My friends just introduced me to some new wellness technology. Man, these guys are killing it, and the wellness industry is one of the hottest industries. Where are you at on Tuesday? I got to come by and see you. When you go to them, you're going to meet the sharpest people you're going to see are the ones you go to. When you invite them only, like usually the people that were sitting on a couch, you got nothing better to do, the ones that come. Start getting good at going to them 1, 2, 3 times a night. Like these Brazilians are seeing 5 and 6 people a night. Learn to get it down. Learn the basics. List. Surely you could do that. You just got to keep adding to your list. I don't know how to add to my list, Steve. Well, start saying hi. Who do you talk to? They say hi back. That's good. Go to the Denny's. They got that fishbowl. Everybody wants a free lunch. Grab your hand out. Pick out a handful of them. You got a bunch of people who want a free lunch. They must want to make some more money. And then you want to contact. I just told you the contact. It's the same for every person. My kids say, Steve, Dad, you sound like a broken record, because you say the same thing over and over again. Then you show the plan. You don't have to be good, but you got to find out what their dream is, and you got to make sure that you do a follow-up. And that's you sign them up right then. Like some are going to get in 7 minutes, like my friend Matt. Some are going to take George just said. My friend Al took 8 months. My friend John, he's made millions with me. John Shawzik, he took 8 months. But you know what? Now him and his wife, he said, whatever you do, John, don't sign up. I mean, all these folks and all these gals that were so adamant about not getting in, we got them started. We got them thinking, like George said. We got the juice started to talk, the conversation about their health, and then about their success, because we're sitting there talking with them. Use the scanner as a ultimate tool to get you in front of the people to find out what they're looking for. Because you know what? I was with a gal at the meeting last night, and she was saying how her corporate career, I don't know how many you work for corporate, but she was just telling me how it is just they do not care. She said you can't work too hard because then they'll keep pushing you. But then you can't work that much because then they're like saying, I can't believe that. It is just a dog-eat-dog world out there. She said, I just want to get around some positive people. I've been going from city to city to state to state to country, my wife and I, around the most fired-up people about life that you'll ever find, the folks in Monavie. Before I get off the call tonight, I want to ask you, everyone, I got to talk with Sergio Ponce this weekend in Brazil, and everyone, go online and click for the kids. Can every one of you please, you're the leaders in this business. We are all givers. Give whatever you can give on an auto-ship basis for those kids. Sponsor a child. If you got one sponsored, sponsor another one. Let's roll up our shirt sleeves and show how much we care for these kids over there. I mean, do what you can do. I'm not making anyone do nothing that you can't. But you know what? When you give, there's two kinds of people in this world: givers and takers. All right, and we are all a group of givers. And I mean, just $10 a month is going to go a long way. And he can use the money for those kids in Brazil right now. And we want to make sure that they can make a difference. This guy was a very successful dentist. He has, if you don't know his story, I mean, him and his family, his parents and him and his wife was there at the event this weekend. They had kids there from the Moore Project. They are making a huge difference, and we want to be a big part of it. We want you to be a big part of it. We can't do it all by ourselves. So, hey, we love you guys. We hope this call helped you out. Wayne does such a phenomenal job of doing this. Takes away from his own family's time, his own time of building his business to lay this out, and he doesn't do it lightly. And you know what? I kind of give him a few tips on who I'd like to hear and everything, because we are just so into, our goal is to help our friends succeed in life, both physically, financially, and spiritually, and we're doing that. One person at a time we're taking them. And then also we want to change people's perception of this industry, and it is happening. It's actually on an upward swing. There's more people getting in this industry than ever before. And you know what? We believe that Monavie is the best opportunity. We believe that we are the culture of people that you're going to want your family to hang around. But you know what? You make the decision. But we believe we got the best product, we got the best team, and we got the best leadership both corporately and in the field, and we want you with us. So, hey, appreciate you, Wayne. Can't wait. Hey, next week, Thursday, you're going to be able to get this call, by the way, and you're going to be able to, Wayne will send out the link so you can listen to it again, and you can pass it on to your team. And every week we want to get, our goal is to get 500, then 1,000, then thousands of people every Thursday on this Thursday call, so we can help folks understand what they got their hands on with this opportunity. Hey, we'll see you at one of the BBSs. Make sure you fly in or drive into one of those, and we'll see you in Salt Lake at the end of August. So, Wayne, take it away. Appreciate you, buddy. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you, Steve Merritt. Awesome call. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming on the call tonight. Don't forget to visit thirstythursdaycall.com. Check out the blog. I put a post up there about George and Steve and everybody on the call tonight. You can learn a little bit about backgrounds and so on and so forth. Make sure to leave a comment or share it to your Facebook. Get the word out there. And so like we do every week, I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines so you can give a shout-out of where you're from. Wayne Ulery, Youngstown, Ohio.
Happy Firestone, Cleveland, Ohio.
From Ocala. Naomi from Ocala.
Lufkin, Texas.
Naomi from Ocala.
Colleen King, New Hampshire.
I had myself Naomi from Ocala.
Kathy in Canada.
My sister Woo! Naomi from Ocala. Naomi from Ocala.
Jean in Rockledge.
Naomi
Jerry Canada.
Naomi from Ocala.
Jerry in Canada.
Jerry Canada.